If you grew up in India like me, you know Shin-chan. It used to air on the Hangama channel with short episodes of his adventure. I remember waking up on a Sunday morning, brushing my teeth, eating chocos, and sitting in front of the TV to watch Shin-chan. There was something special about that show. It was funny while still keeping me connected with the characters. It was original. The voice actors did not rip off Bollywood actors' voices for the characters, nor were the characters similar to other cartoon shows, where you get a fat kid, a rich kid, a smart kid, a helpful friend, and a nerd protagonist. After so many years, I still find comfort in that show and watch its feature films whenever I get a chance. So, why was and still is Shin-chan relatable? I used to love the show as a kid because it was relatable for a 5-year-old kid. Just like Shin-chan, even I had to wake up early in the morning, dress on time, and read school. I was excited to meet my friends in school and have my own make-believe adventures with them. Every child had a friend group with a cool group name where we could pretend to be something greater than we were. I liked to watch TV, play with my toys, and eat my favorite snacks. I used to mess up too and get a scolding from my mom. And just like Shin-chan, I had my wholesome moments with my family and friends. The only thing that was different between Shin-chan and me was that he invited mischief. He used to stand out from his friends because of his reckless and borderline vulgar behavior. And why do we still watch that show after growing up? I don't go to school anymore, nor do I get to play with my friends in the evening. Shin-chan shows us the world through the eyes of a kid, which is something we often forget. We forget to have fun and joke around. We run away from chaos while Shin-chan invites it. He's the mischief maker of the town, but we know that he has a golden heart. He might annoy you, but at the end of the day, you love and adore him. He knows that everyday life is boring, and life is happening only for a few moments. He knows that the plot needs chaos to be interesting and to move forward. Shin-chan isn't just a comedy show. It explores social and personal issues. It tackles heavy and sensitive topics of the world in the easiest of manners. It is, after all, a show made for kids. Today we're going to take a look at his 24th feature film, Crayon Shinchan, Fast Asleep, The Great Assault on the Dreaming World. The movie is about a strange phenomena that occurs in the city of Kasukabe. The entire city seems to be dreaming the same dream, being engulfed by a large colorful fish. They all find themselves inside the fish where they could dream about anything they want. Each person is assigned a dream ball. The dream balls are powered by the imagination and the purity of the heart. What looks like a fantasy land for everyone's imagination slowly turns into a nightmare, literally. The dream fish runs on the people's dream energy. If someone lacks purity of heart or runs out of dream energy, they're thrown into the land of nightmares. The land of nightmare is filled with nightmare monsters which take the form of the thing a person fears the most. The adults lacking innocence and purity of heart get thrown out first. The kids do end up dreaming for a few days but are thrown out eventually after their dream energy is collected. All this dream energy is being collected for a girl named Saki by her father. We get to know that Saki needs that dream energy to help her with her nightmares. The movie starts with everyone in the Nohara family dreaming. Hiro living his dream of being a superhero and saving his colleague, Misai dreaming of being the love interest of a famous radio host, Himawari being a queen, Shiro being a tall dog, and Shin-chan being Shin-chan. Which brings us to the core topic of this movie, dreams. Dreams have always been about living a fantasy. It's about romanticizing our deepest desires, personal things that we would not share with the world. We get to stretch our imagination limitlessly to construct the perfect world. A painting with only the brightest of colors, where the taint of reality has not scratched the canvas and you could stare at it for hours. It is about escaping the pain and boredom of reality. Dreams are about reaching the end without taking the efforts to walk the path. Hiro and Misai are kicked out of the dream fish because they lacked purity in their heart. Here, we understand the basis of dreams. Innocence. Our daydreams were wildest when we were kids. We dreamt about ruling the world and visiting places that did not exist. We didn't limit our imagination to the rules of reality. That's what made our dreams special. As we grew up, we understood that the world does not go according to our wish. We reduced our dreams to goals and to-do lists. We stopped imagining a fantastical future for us because of the fear that it would never be complete. Not all our dreams come true. While majority of movies exploit the idea of dreams and how we cling onto the comfort it gives, this movie tries to liberate us from it. Shin-chan and his friends meet at school. The Kasukabe defense group shares their dreams and how everyone had the same dream. They discuss how the parents were in the land of nightmare and they plan to solve this case. Saki becomes a new transfer student at Shin-chan school. She is quite cold and not interested in making friends. She has built walls which block anything trying to enter. She pushes people away, literally. Look, we have all faced betrayal and lost friendships in our lives. It's hard to trust someone after knowing that they could hurt you. Opening up your walls is like giving a gun to someone to point at your head and hoping that they won't pull the trigger. Saki is in the conflict of making friends and allowing them to know that the case that they're trying to solve is about her. Saki thinks that anyone who tried to get to know her will eventually start hating her. But Nene is determined to make Saki a friend. Saki agrees to join the group on the promise that they won't end up hating her.
約束できる？私のこと嫌いにならないって。いいわ。これでさきちゃんはカスカベ防衛隊の新メンバーよ。
As humans, we cannot choose our family or the problems that come with them, but we can choose our friends. Shin-chan and his friends eventually discover that Saki and her father are the reason why everyone has been having nightmares. After knowing the truth about Saki, everyone leaves her. That she used them and hurt them to protect herself. But Shin-chan does not leave her. Neither does he plan on a revenge. Our friends can and will hurt us unintentionally. It is about taking the high road. Shin-chan understands that people who inflict pain are in pain themselves. He does not blame her for her behavior, but redeems her instead. Shin-chan and his friends decide to enter Saki's nightmare and fight the nightmare monster. We learn that Saki's nightmare is about her mom. More specifically, an incident that involved her death. In an experiment gone wrong, Saki ends up in a room which is about to burst. Her mom runs to protect her and dies doing so. Saki blames herself for her death and thinks that her mother hates her for it. Saki needs the dream energy to protect her from her traumatic nightmares. Her dad builds the dream world to protect her. He's willing to do absolutely anything necessary to protect his daughter, even if that means that everyone will have nightmares. We've all lost loved ones in our lives. Not knowing how to reason it, we all point the first finger to ourselves. We think that by taking responsibility for it, it will allow us to solve the problem. We end up trying to move an immovable mountain and chase ghosts in the hope of redemption. Saki is a well-protected child, but she is afraid of the world. She tries to escape her pain by doing everything her dad tells her. Parents have the best intentions for their child, but they often forget that the child is an individual by themselves. In the movie, Saki's dad is fighting for his kid, while Misai and Hiro are fighting with their kid. There's a difference between protecting a child from a problem and helping your child through a problem. Our parents will always protect us. Saki's dad built the dreaming world to protect her. It is their responsibility to keep us safe. And if anything happens to us, it would feel like blood on their hands. But the only way you can make sure that your child will be okay is if you teach them to fight for themselves and to take a stand and evolve them into a better human. If someone sacrifices something for us, our first reaction is to be guilty for it. We feel bad for the other person. We never respect their decision nor appreciate the love that it comes from. It is important to be grateful for a sacrifice. Feeling bad about it destroys all goodness the person did it with. The movie ends with a full circle, the same way that Saki's nightmare started. Shin-chan's mom cannot see him suffer, so she chooses to enter the nightmare herself. For a parent, protecting a child isn't a choice, it's an instinct.
母ちゃん、なんでじゃないわよ。子供のピンチに駆けつけない親がどこにいるってのよ。
Parents sacrifice being liked by their kids in order to protect them and to do what's best for them. A parent is never mean because they want to be, because they can never hate their child.
好きで嫌われ役やってんじゃないわよ。嫌われたっていいから自分の子供を守りたいだけ。あんたたち子供には分かんないでしょうけどね。それが母親ってものなの。あなたを憎むわけない。
After fighting, they finally manage to reduce the monster. But it takes its final form as Saki herself. Saki is not afraid of her mother blaming her. She's afraid of blaming herself. She tells herself that if she erases the nightmare, she'll erase her mother too, and that she deserves the nightmare, because it was her fault. She's convinced that she has to be miserable as a price of her actions. We often think that drowning ourselves in sorrow is the only possible reaction to trauma. But the only way to get over our trauma is to forgive ourselves for it. That we should not suffer for what wasn't our fault. We think that we'll be a bad person if we forgive ourselves for our mistake. It is more important to make sure not to repeat it. Escaping from what we fear only makes us more fearful. Running away from your problems only add them up. Avoiding our pain only hurts more. Shin-chan fights the nightmare monster only after he charges it head-on, looks at it in the eye, and says that he is not afraid of it. We need to learn to look our fear in the eye. Our traumas will always be a part of us. We have to get along with it. But they do not define us. They are something we never had control over. The only thing that define us are our actions.
ママはずっとあなたと一緒よ。あなたにはママの夢がいっぱい詰まってる。あなたは私の夢よ。
We cannot avoid nightmares, they are inevitable. But we can all try to dream a good dream. Dreaming is not a bad thing. Desires and dreams are the sources of excitement in our lives. Good dreams are not about illusions. They're about living your life so extraordinary that when you look back, it all seems like a dream. So, thank you, Shin-chan, for teaching me how to dream like a child and being one of the happiest memories of my childhood. I'll see you in the next one.